חי וקיים, שחסרת בנשמתי וחמלה, מודני לפניך, ולחי וקיים, שחסרת בנשמתי וחמלה, רבה אמונתך, רבה אמונתך, רבה אמונתך, רבה אמונתך, מודה אני לפניך, ולחי וקיים, וחסרת בנשמתי וחמלה, מודה אני לפניך, ולחי וקיים, וחסרת בנשמתי וחמלה, רבה אמונתך, רבה אמונתך, רבה אמונתך, רבה אמונתך. I offer thanks to you, ever living sovereign, that you have restored my soul to me in mercy. How great is to have your trust. How great is this reminder that we have the ability to encounter our souls and work to become the best version of ourselves, and that we can count on you, that we have your trust every day as we start. We have your support, we have opportunity to make the best out of this day, to try our best. Boker Tov, everyone. It's so good to virtually see you. Good to see Gabi on the other side. You don't see him, but Zach Richter is also facilitating our ability to communicate with you. And this is a great opportunity as we start our day and we acknowledge the wonders of our lives, to acknowledge the wonders of technology, and to express our gratitude for this opportunity to be physically distant, but spiritually close. So we will start our service, turning our Sidurim to page 192, and if you are using the PDF file, to page 92, to say the words of Matubu, to acknowledge the fact that we are entering into a sanctuary, that we are entering our synagogue, and that we are gathering, and we are acknowledging also our sacred community, our Keilah Kedosha.
La
On page 194, we take a moment to acknowledge our bodies, to acknowledge the vessels of the sacred vessels of our spirit. I invite you to follow the words of our prayer, or just for one moment to close your eyes and try to think about the well functioning of your body. Try to give attention to maybe a part of your body that needs some special attention in this morning of Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, who heals all flesh, working wondrously. Baruch atah Adonai, rofeh kol basar, umafli la'asot. We turn our reading to page 196 for the blessing for our souls. And sometimes it feels that our souls, our spirits, are away from us. We feel disconnected from our own selves. And our tradition reminds us that we have the ability to become one with our souls, one with God. And we can bring, in order to do that, our bodies. I want to invite you just for one moment to focus on your breath. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. The Hebrew word for breath is neshima, and soul is neshama. Let's bring divine presence into our midst, into our bodies. Let's breathe once again. Page 96 or 196, the blessing for our souls. Is every living soul and the breath of humankind. Baruch atah Adonai asher biyado nefesh kol chai, baruch kol basar ish. We now turn our study to page 198 for the blessings for the daily miracles. I know you're home and you might be sitting on your couch, but this is a good time to stand up. Just please rise. Please rise. Let's stand up for the blessings, for the daily miracles. Noah is going to hold the siddur for the two of us. We don't have a music stand home. Maybe next week we will. And we we take time to acknowledge all the blessings that we have in our lives, all the little things that we take for granted. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who has given the mind the ability to distinguish day from night. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who opens the eyes of the blind. We ask for the ability to see new things, to discover things we might not be aware of. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who frees the captive. This is a special time, Shabbat Gadol, in which freeing the captive is not just about the ability to release our bodies and to extend our bodies. It's also about our ability to release and extend our spirits. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who lift up the fallen. And you might have been sitting for too long, so we'll focus on our backs for a moment. We lift up the fallen. What are the things that we need to rise up spiritually and physically right now? Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who stretches the earth so let the waters. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who strengthens our steps in times of uncertainty, who give us the ability to walk with strength in our path. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who clothes the naked. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who gives strength to the weary. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who removes sleep from the eyes, slumber from the eyelids. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, has created all human beings equal. Seated. We are going now to turn our Sidurim to page 212 or 212 or I don't know what, or 112 in the PDF file. All of a sudden the numbers didn't work for me, and we'll say the blessing for the Psukei de Simbra, the section in our service that remind us that uplifting our souls is not something that just happened to us, but it is actually our own work. We need to work toward our ability to uplift our souls, to the opportunity and the possibility of uplifting our souls.
Baruch Omer ועושה, Baruch Gozer ומקיים
total sovereignty. You are the source of life in the universe. One God, life of the universe. Praise and glory is ruler. Your name is eternal. It's that you are the night sovereign, who is glorified through praise. Baruch atah Adonai, melech me'olam, v'tishmachot. It's okay, the Simra in this beautiful day, this Shabbat, start with Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbat on page 214 or 114 in our PDF file.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, איי ליי 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 ליי. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת. Ay, 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 ay. Tov le'adon Adonai, v'yamer shivtoi elyon, להגיד בבוקר חסדיך, אמונתך בלילות. אל תעזור בלילה
Happy are those who dwell in your house. Forever praise you. We think about moments, places in which we find joy. Estoy tepid high, amor. Estoy here. Yambararam dai 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 dai. Yada dai 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 dai. Yada dai 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 dai. Yada dai. Ay yada dai yada dai 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 dai. Yambara dai yada dai 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 dai. Yada dai 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 dai. Asheram shekachado. Asheram shalonai Elohim. Asheram shekachado. Asheram shalonai We continue with the reading of Ashley over pages 215, 216. And if you are holding the PDF file, or I don't know what holding means, but looking at or watching the PDF file, you can find the reading of Ashley on pages 115, 116. ענן כבודותיך ודברי נפלאותיך, עשיך וסוס מרדך ימינו, וגדולתך אספי עמה, וחבקנו בחיינו, אנו מרחומה, אדוני ירך אפיים וגדול, חסד טוב אדוני לכל, כל מסע, כל מסך, וחסידך ימלכוך, ונכו בני אדם מלכתו, מלכותך בכל עולמים, וממשלתך בכל דרמדון, סומך אדוני לכל הנופלים, וזוקף לכל הכפופים, עיני כל אליך ישברו, ואתה נותן להם את אוכלם ביתו, פותח את ידיך ומשביע לכל חי רצון, צדיק אדוני בכל דרכיו, וחסין בכל מעשיו, קרוב אדוני לכל קולם, לכל אשר יקראו באמת. רצון ידע ויעשה, את שבתם ישמע ויושיעם, שומר אדוני את כל אוהביו, ואת כל הרשעים ישמיע.
תהילת אדוני ידבר בי ויברך כל בשר שם קודשו לעולם, לעולם ואין ואנחנו נברך מעתה ועד עולם. הללויה, הללויה, הללויה.
אנחנו נברך מעתה ועד עולם. הללויה, hallelujah. Page 218 or 118. Hallelujah, 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 kol anshama. Hallelujah, kol anshama. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Turn our Sidorim to page 220. So we recognize that sometimes our words are limited. The words of our hearts are limited, and we use the words of prayer to express the depths of our gratitude. Ilufinu.
Ilufinu על שיר הקיים ולשוננו רינה בידינו פרוסות כנשרי שמיים ורגלינו קלות כילקות ilufinu על שיר הקיים ולשוננו רינה בידינו פרוסות כנשרי שמיים ורגלינו קלות כילקות אין אנחנו מספיקים להודות לך ולברך את שמך מלכנו אין אנחנו מספיקים להודות לך ולברך את שמך מלך מלכי המלכים מלך מלכי המלכים מלך מלכי המלכים אלוהינו על שיר הקיים ולשוננו רינה בידינו פרוסות כנשרי שמיים ורגלינו קלות כילקות אלוהינו על שיר הקיים ולשוננו רינה בידינו פרוסות כנשרי שמיים ורגלינו קלות כילקות.
Turn our Sidorim now to page 222 for Shochen Al. You can follow Gabi on page 222, page 223, or 112 and 113.
שוכן עד מרום וקדוש שמו וכתוב רננו צדיקים באדוני לישרים נאווה תהילה בפי ישרים תתהלל ובדברי צדיקים תתברך ובלשון חסידים תתרומם ובקרב קדושים תתקדש ובמקהלות ריבות עמך בית ישראל ברינה יתבר שמך מלכנו בכל דור ודור ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו האל המלך הגדול והקדוש בשמיים ובארץ כי לך נאה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו שהוא שפחה לב וזמרה עוז וממשלה נצח גדולה גבורה תהילה ותפארת קדושה ומלכות ברכות והודאות מעתה ועד עולם ברוך אתה אדוני אל מלך גדול בתשבחות אל ההודעות אדון הנפלאות הבוחר בשירי זמרה מלך מלכי העולמים
יתגדל ויתקדש רבב ילמד יברח ילותה וימליך מלכותה מחייך ומוב יומך ובחייך בית ישראל מגלה מגלה ובשמן קרים אמרו אמן אשמרה מבורך לעולם ולעולם בהוויה יתברך ישתבח יתאמן ותרומה מתנשא, ויתהדר, ויתהלל, ויתהלל, שבת קודשה, ויכון להילה מכל מנחתה, ושהילתה, קדוש וחתה ונחמתה, אמירה אמרה, ואמרו, אמן. On page 226 or 126, please rise for Barhu. Barhu is the prayer in which we say that we have the ability to pray as community. So especially in this moment of physical disconnection, we say that we are here, that greater purpose unite us, and that we are community, even when we are virtually gathering. Baruch Adonai, Amevorach, Leolam Vaed, May be seated. Baruch אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם יוצר אור ולחושך עושה שלום ובורא את הכל אמן לארץ ולעברים מלא ברחמים ובטובו מחדש בכל יום תמיד מעשה בראשית מה רבו מעשה חיה ולעם בחוכמה עשית מנוהלת מנחת בלת אלוהינו אשלח חוזה ידיך בעל וליושר סידה יפוזלה כל חדש על ציון תהי ונזכה כולנו מעלי אורו ברוך אתה אדוני יוצר המאורות. I'm thinking about this heavenly, lovingly lights, this loving presence. We turn our series into page 230. Barabah, the blessing before the Shema, the blessing for the divine love, which we acknowledge that we are loved by an everlasting love. Guide us in peace from the four corners of the earth and lead us upright to our land. For you, O God, work wonders. You chose us. Truly, you drew us near to your great name, that we might acknowledge you, declaring you one in love. Praised be you, Adonai, who chooses your people, Israel, be'ahava, in love. If you are wearing a talit, I invite you to gather the four corners of your talit together. ברוך אתה אדוני, הבוחר בעמו ישראל, באהבה.
Shema Yisrael Adonai
Eloheinu
Adonai Echad. We continue on page 234 or 134 in your PDF with Ve'ahavta. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. I will continue in English on page 236 or 136. In the middle of the page. Adonai said to Moses as follows: Speak to the Israelite people and instruct them to make for themselves fringes on the corners of their garments throughout the ages. Let them attach a cord of blue to the fringe at each corner. That shall be your fringe. Look at it and recall all the commandments of Adonai and observe them, so that you do not follow your heart and eyes in your lustful urge. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אמן.
אדוני אלוהיכם, אמן. אמת ביציב באהוב בחביב בנורא ודין בטוב ביפה, דבר עשה עלינו לעולם בהם. משה ומרים ובני ישראל לחנו שירה בשיחה רבה ואמרו כולם. Page 240 or 140. ויהי כמוך על לימני, כמוך נהדר בכל נש, ויהי כמוך סבלת, מורתי לא תוספלת, זכותך Yeah. laughing at me because I confused the evening part with the morning part because the snow is a bit far away from me. But this is a part of our time, Lola. We are confusing evening and morning because we are home. So it's good. It was good that we sang the evening time, and now let's do the morning part of Micha Mocha. צור ישראל קומה בעזרת ישראל, עובדנו בחיותה והיא ישראל. ועלינו אדוני צבאות שמו קדוש ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. We turn our theory now to page 242 or 142 if you're holding the PDF file. For Tfilat Amida, in the morning we sing the first three blessings of Tfilat Amida out loud. We invite you, we encourage you to follow as we sing the first three blessings, Avot Gevurot, Avot Beimavot Gevurot, and the Kedusha. After that, you can take a moment to dedicate to your personal prayer. You can also follow the words, the millennial all words of our Siddur. You also can try to find the words that you need to say, words that your spirit needs to hear from you. Page 242.
Adonai, Shabbat tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'koneh Hakol, Ve'zocheh Chasdei Avot v'imahot, U'mevii geula libnei bneihem, Leman shemo be'ahava, Melech ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham be'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah Rab le'Hoshia, Mashiva ruach u'morid hagashem, Mechokel chayim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Zomech noflim berafech olim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar, Micha mocha be'al gevurot, Umida melech, melech meimit umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, b'ne'eman natan hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol.
מקדש את שמך בעולם, גשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, בקרא ששא ואמר, קדוש 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 Adonai Bimkomo. Echanu Eloheinu Ulavinu Malkeinu Moshienu Lehu Yashmienu Berachamav Leinei Kol Chai Ani Adonai Elohechem Imloch Adonai Leolam Elohai Tzion Bedor Bador Alleluia Ledor Bador Ledor Bador Ledor Bador Nagidot Lecha Ledor Bador Ledor Bador Ledor Bador Nagidot Lecha צחקים קדושתך קדושתך נקדיש בשמך אלוהינו נפינו לא ימוש לעולם לעולם בעת ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. יזמחו מלכותך שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג עם מקדש והשביעי כולם מסביב ומתעניין יטובך ותבוא קדש נדד ימים ותוכלת הסך למסכם ונשית. מודים לך שאתה לכל ערב וקבלות הרעם לעתוק קיווינו עולם, קיווינו עולם. We're at the bottom of at the end of page. I'm reading in my Hebrew syllabus. I need you to be here. And we're at the bottom of page 258. We asked to find God's blessing and light. Barchenu yotzreinu kulanu כאחד, כולנו כאחד, בחורר פניך. ברכנו אבינו, כולנו כאחד, כולנו כאחד, בחורר פניך. ברכנו יוצרנו, כולנו כאחד, כולנו כאחד. May be seated. So we are going to do some toilet, some study. So today is, we have some technicalities now to resolve. Look at this, here we are. Share your screen. Can you see my screen now? This is fantastic news. If you can. So you guys can unmute yourself now. We're going to have a few minutes together. Today is Shabbat Agadol, the Great Shabbos, a very important, a very, very important one. And we're going to be studying a little bit together. Yesterday, we started a conversation about the nature of questions. If we needed to be looking for answers right now, or we needed to be able to formulate questions. And I wanted to explore that a bit more deeply today. So first, this is in the Mishnah, the first source that we have in our oral tradition for the questions and the cups of wine, the first foundations of the Seder that we will celebrate. I hope we will celebrate, all of us. I hope that you are working on how to celebrate your Seder on Wednesday. So, Gary, do you want to be the first reader from Mishnah Psachim?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Okay.
Oh.
They pour a second cup of wine for him, and here the son questions his father. And if the son has insufficient understanding to question, his father teaches him to ask, "Why is this night different from all other nights? On all other nights we eat leavened and unleavened bread, but on this night we eat only unleavened bread. On all other nights we eat all kinds of vegetables, but on this night we eat only bitter herbs. On all other nights we eat meat roasted, stewed, or boiled, but on this night we eat only roasted meat. On all other nights we dip vegetables once, but on this night we dip vegetables twice."
Thank you. So do you recognize this text?
Yes.
Good. So this is, I'm glad that we are participating. We cannot hear your voices on YouTube, but we have two beautiful voices here that we want to actually hear. These are the words of the Manishtana. These are the words of Manishtana. Now, I just wanted to be aware that when the Mishnah starts working on the text and the ideas of the Seder, they're actually trying to come up with an innovative idea to keep celebrating Passover. And this idea has an interesting background. At least I think it has an interesting background. I think that the rabbis thought that the only way we had to pass on the awareness of freedom, the notion of freedom, the experience of freedom was by developing a people that will ask questions and a people that will tell the story. So they started framing this pedagogical methodology, I would say that is the Seder. Now, in Mishneh Torah, years later, the Ramban explains that, Noga?
Mix the second cup, and here the son asks, "Why is this night different from all other nights?"
מה נשתנה הלילה זה מכל הלילות?
On all other nights, we don't dip even once. Tonight, twice. On all other nights, we eat chametz and matzah. Tonight, only matzah. On all other nights, we eat meat roasted, boiled, or cooked. Tonight, only roasted. On all other nights, we eat all kinds of vegetables. Tonight, only maror. On all other nights, we eat while sitting or reclining. Tonight, we all recline. In today's times, we don't say tonight only roasted because we don't have Paschal sacrifice.
So what is the Ramban saying? The Ramban is saying, well, there's already a change here. We will need to modify this Mishnaic idea, and we will need to adjust it because the idea of the sacrifice is not there anymore. The entire celebration of Passover now is going to be set on something else that we will do, and it's not a sacrifice. And for most of us, one of the main components of the celebration of Passover is, of course, the Seder. For many of us, is actually cleaning up our homes before Passover. So again, these are the rabbis designing Jewish tradition. I want to now share another text, a text I think is brilliant. And I'd like to ask you, Gabby, to share about the nature of questions. Why engaging in questioning is such an important thing, and what happens when we ask questions? What's the idea of Jewish tradition also to have in mind as we read this text as a dialogue?
Understanding is always more than merely recreating someone else's meaning. Questioning opens up possibilities of meaning, and thus what is meaningful passes into one's own thinking on the subject.
And I want to stop you for a second already and say, in the Gada we say, in every generation we have to look at ourselves like we came up from the land of Egypt. And I would say that we could say also, in every generation, we need to be able to ask the questions if we want to understand the meaning. Go ahead.
Only in an inauthentic sense can we talk about understanding questions that one does not pose oneself. For example, questions that are outdated or empty. To understand a question means to ask it. To understand meaning is to understand it as the answer to a question. This is not an external matter of simply adjusting our tools, nor is it even right to say that the partners adapt themselves to one another, but rather, in a successful conversation, they both come under the influence of the truth of the object and are thus bound to one another in a new community.
So, in this context is what happens to us when we retell the story, when we ask these same questions about the story of Passover, this story from the transition from oppression to redemption. What happens to us today when we ask those questions, when we bring our collective memory into our present?
To reach an understanding in a dialogue is not merely a matter of putting oneself forward and successfully asserting one's own point of view, but being transformed into a communion in which we do not remain what we hear. From H.G. Gadamer, Truth and Method.
In which we do not remain what we were. So what happens is that when we engage in asking questions, we start a process of self-transformation. Now, I want to share with you one of my favorite stories. It's a story told by Martin Buber in his book, The Way of Men, which was a series of classes that Buber taught in Europe after the Shoah. He was sent by the Hebrew University to establish the relationship of the Hebrew University and universities in Europe. And he came with 6 classes about Jewish tradition, and he led those classes with Hasidic stories. This is the first Hasidic tale, and it refers to the eternal question that God asked to Adam in the Garden of Eden. The leader of the Mitnagdim denounced Rabbi Shneur Salman, the rabbi of Belarus, to the government on account of the rabbi's beliefs and conduct of his life. He was jailed in St. Petersburg and awaiting his interrogation when the chief of police came into his cell. Deep in contemplation, the rabbi was not aware of his visitor. The chief, a thoughtful man, noted the rabbi's powerful but serene facial expression and intuited the sort of person his prisoner was. He began to converse with the rabbi and soon raised several questions that have occurred to him when reading the scripture. Finally, he asked, "How am I to understand that God, who is omniscient, asked Adam, 'Where are you?'" The rabbi replied, "Do you believe that the scripture is eternal and encompasses every age, every generation, and every person?" "Yes, I believe that," said the chief. "Well, now," said the tzaddik, "in every generation, God addresses every person with the question, 'Where are you in your world?' Already so many of your allotted years and days have passed. How far have you come in your world?" Perhaps God will say, "You have lived 46 years. Where are you now?" When the chief of the police heard the exact number of his years, he pulled himself together, clasped the rabbi's shoulder, and exclaimed, "Bravo!" But his heart trembled. The Manishtana was different on this night from all the rest of the nights. It's an invitation for us also to hear God's eternal question of, "Where are you? Where are you today? What's holding you back today? What shall be different for you tonight?" The Manishtana is not a mere invitation to ask questions, but an invitation to be transformed and to become perceptive of the voice of our tradition, reminding us Yetziat Mitzrayim, the Exodus from Egypt, reminding us to be perceptive to God's question. I want to read one more text. I want to be actually two. By Rabbi Jonathan Sachs. Noga, would you like to read?
There is a fundamental difference between history and memory. History is his story, an account of events that happened sometime else to someone else. Memory is my story. It is the past internalized and made part of my identity. That is what the Mishnah in Pesachim means when it says, each person must see himself as if he or she went out of Egypt. Throughout the Devarim, Moses warns the people no less than 14 times not to forget. If they forget the past, they will lose their identity and sense of direction, and disaster will follow. Moreover, not only are the people commanded to remember, they are also commanded to hand that memory on to their children.
The mitzvah of Passover is Ve'igata lebincha lebitcha. And you shall say it, you shall repeat it to your children, as we say in the Shema.
This entire phenomenon represents a remarkable cluster of ideas about identity as a matter of collective memory, about the ritual retelling of the nation's story, above all, about the fact that every one of us is a guardian of that story and memory. It is not the leader alone or some elite who are trained to recall the past, but every one of us. This, too, is an aspect of the devolution and democratization of leadership that we find throughout Judaism as a way of life. The great leaders tell the story of the group, but the greatest of leaders, Moses, taught the group to become a nation of storytellers. Covenantal narrative is always inclusive, the property of all its citizens, newcomers as well as the homeborn. It says to everyone, regardless of class or creed, this is who we are. It creates a sense of common identity that transcends other identities.
I will bring the piece of the text that we read earlier to reach an understanding in the dialogue. It's not merely a matter of putting oneself forward and successfully asserting one's own point of view, but being transformed into a communion in which we do not remain what we were. When we participate in this dialogue, when we take our side in this covenant and we become leaders of this nation of storytellers by repeating the story, by repeating the story, sharing the story with our children or with each other. And when we ask the questions, we become carriers of the memory, but also to participate in the dialogue. We open ourselves ultimately to God's question, where are you? We open ourselves to the questions, what's holding me back? How will I celebrate my freedom? Gabby, can you read the last one?
Yes, I would love to read your message.
Oh.
In every generation, we will repeat the same story and we will ask again and again. We will remember something that happened more than 2,000 years ago, and we will try to dare and ask about where we are today. We will think about our own stories and seek for deeper understanding. We will relate the Exodus in order to pull out the hope needed in order to summon ourselves. We will challenge oppression with questioning. So this year, when you open your Haggadah, remember what you are holding in your hands isn't just a legend or even a wonderful story, but rather an invitation to personal transformation, a sound of redemption, a taste of what it could be. The question is, do you want to be moved? Do you want to be transformed?
I hope that your answer is yes. I hope that your answer is yes, and that you are preparing for Passover. Not just your home, but your heart. You are preparing yourself to ask the questions and to tell the story. We will now continue with our service. We will turn our Sidurim to page 371 for Misha Berach. And as Gabby prepared herself, I want to say that we are thinking of all those that are ill right now. We are thinking of all those that are dealing with coronavirus. We are thinking of all the messages that we got yesterday and today asking for healing. I want to especially mention, someone texted me, give me 1 second. I really want to take a moment to acknowledge this message. If I knew how to open it. So Karine, she texted and asked for her husband, who is right now in the hospital. So we also asked for his healing. We asked also for the healing of all those that are dealing with coronavirus. We ask for the well-being of all those that are in the front lines of this crisis, for nurses, for doctors, for people that work in grocery stores, for all the essential workers. And if you have names of people that you'd like to share, please do so as we give you a silent moment. And join us for Misha Berach on page 371.
Those in need
pray for the refuah shlema, and achlama meira, the complete and fast recovery of all those that are ill. We ask for refuah shlema, mina hashamayim. Let us say amen. Take now a moment to acknowledge donors among our community. We turn our Siurim now to page 598. We ask you, if you are during one of the time cycles of mourning, 7 days Shiva, 30 days Shloshim, the first year of mourning, or you have a yahrzeit this week, to write it on our YouTube. I want you to know also that we later on go and read your comments. So we cannot do that as we are doing the service. We don't have yet the technological ability. We will, but we are later on go and read your comments, and we embrace you as our community. So please share with us. We want to know of you, and we want to know about the people that you are remembering. Owner's Kaddish, again, page 598. התגדל והתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמה דיברה חירותי, בהמליך מלכותי, בחייכון ובימיכון, בחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה, מבורך לעולם מעלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר, ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר, ויתעלה, ויתהלל, שמי לקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, ושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירם לעלמה ואמרו אמן. יש למרבה מין שמחיה. חיים טובים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום. עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. May the memories of your dear ones be a blessing in your life. יהיה זכרם ברוך. You may be seated if you were attending. So we are at the very end of our service. We will remain standing. So you can come with me, Noga. We are together. So we are at the very end of our service. I want to first acknowledge your presence with us, and the present actually of your presence with us in our virtual community, in our virtual gathering. I want to recognize the hard work that all those that are involved in leading services are doing. I want to recognize First Noga, who's standing next to me, and of course the Gabi and Zach that have been doing a terrific job in adjusting to all the new reality and making sure that somehow we are able to represent the essence of our prayer, the way in which we pray together. And I want to remind you that on Wednesday is first night of Passover, and on Thursday we will be doing our congregational Seder. Now, if you want to learn about Passover's ultimate cleaning, the spiritual one, the one of your soul, please join me on Monday. And I still don't remember if it's 6:30 or 7 p.m., but you can take a look at our tidbits. Now, I was told by Zach that we have people that want to have more information about TVT and want to participate in our activities, and they don't know how. And there are YouTube regulations that you cannot write your email address on the comments there. Write an email to us. Write us to info, I-N-F-O, @tbtoc.org, and we will connect you with our congregational activities. And if you miss what I said, you can watch the video later. info@tbtoc.org. That address is in our website. Gabby is trying to write it out for you, but it's in our website. So we will conclude our service with Adon Olam. And if you are sitting, we invite you to stand. In our congregation, Gabby took her cat. Whoever's there with you, your family, you can embrace, or if you are alone, you can embrace yourself. And I hope that you feel our loving hands and our loving embrace from where we are. We're on page 625 for Adon Olam.
Oh, hang on.
We are almost there.
Almost there.
We are almost there for Adon Olam.
Yes, we are. Here we go. Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yetzirah ve'en osah chesed azay melech shemo nikra azay melech shemo Adonai li velo ira. With your hands and trust my spirit when I sleep and when I wake, and with my spirit, my body also. Adonai is with me, and I shall not fear. Adonai os le'amo iten. Adonai yevarech. May God gives us the courage and His blessing of peace. May God bless us with the Chag Sameach, with a joyful holiday that is about to come. May God bless us with creativity in times of challenge. May God bless us with love, with ability to find the self-confidence to ask the questions and to be receptive of God's question. Adonai יברך את עמו בשלום. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good Shabbos, everyone.